I'm happy to welcome Julie Viscuso. Concluding today's program, we are honored to welcome our 2025 Face of Lupus, Julie Viscuso. Julie began her journey with the foundation through the Buddy program and has since continued to generously contribute her time and energy as a volunteer with the Living Well with Lupus program. Again, please feel free to type any of your questions and at any time during her talk. Julie?
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm just checking to make sure you can hear me okay. I'm
Yes, we
coming from,
can.
okay, good. I'm coming from slightly a bit of a rural area. Dr. Gouze, that was so beautiful, and you touched on so many topics that I'm going to be speaking on today. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you, and especially on such a powerful month. Happy Lupus Awareness Month and Happy Lupus Awareness Day. My name is Julie Viscuso, and I myself am a fellow lupus warrior. So I completely can relate to everything everybody's been going through on such a deep level. I've gone through all the trials and tribulations everyone has gone through, so I have so much love and empathy for everybody. And just want to take a moment, if we could all just close our eyes and take a deep breath to just honor ourselves for the journey that we've all gone through. If you want to place your hand on your heart and just check in with yourself and just offer yourself a deep moment of deep love and gratitude for the path you've been on. Take a deep inhale and full exhale. And just offer yourself a beautiful moment of love and gratitude. Beautiful. And I'd just like to ask yourself, or ask all of you, if you're ready to start to offer yourself more love and compassion in this moment. And hopefully you can raise your hand and say yes, because myself, the journey I've been through, I am a really big advocate on really deep love and compassion. So today I'm going to be sharing about resilience and compassion for my lupus journey. And it's something that I really encourage everybody, no matter what they're going through, no matter what obstacle, just from everything that I've gone through. So today I'm going to be touching on everything I've gone through, but also, as Dr. Gouze was saying, the tool belts I've built up. I call it my spiritual tool belts because so many of them kind of, tap into a lot of the spiritual aspects that I built in, but they're really just awesome tools in general. So throughout this, they're just things that I've built up throughout the journey. So hopefully I can offer some that you can apply to your life, but again, they're just things that I've learned, things that have been really helpful to me. So just to touch on a little bit of what I've gone through, I am 41. I'm about to be 42 on the 18th. And I've had lupus, systemic lupus, since I started to have some symptoms when I was 13 years old. So when I was 14, I was officially diagnosed with systemic lupus, and I remember when that happened, it was such an intense moment. I was told that I had, the body of an old person, and that I possibly could die from this. So, it's such an intense thing to be told at such a young age. So at that moment, I was told, almost that my body was, in some sense, against me. It was like fighting me, which is such an intense reality. So at that age, I felt like this wasn't with me, and so at that point, I luckily started to do some tests with UCSF and was able to contribute in some way. I was diagnosed so young. So I was able to support and help other people at that age. So I already had this seed planted that I could help in some way, serve in some way. So through this journey, I was luckily brought up in a form of faith, and so at that practice, they were giving little like pamphlets. So I had started journaling at a young age. I'd had like a diary when I was young, so I was journaling, and and through this, I was able to kind of start to write about different flares and different things that were going on in my life. And that was really helpful because I didn't have anybody to talk to. It wasn't at that point wasn't guided to anybody that had lupus. I wasn't, shown anybody that I could talk to about it. So this was where I could vent. This was where I could go to. So the first part of having lupus, it was just kind of like take the pills, do what the doctor said, and then that was just the path for my life. And I didn't know any difference. I didn't know about diet. I didn't know about any other ways to take care of myself. But as I was journaling and really starting to have that question of like, why is this happening? And like, why is this the path for my life? I really started to have that internal dialogue of, wanting to dig in a little bit deeper and have that, that what is the reason for this? And there didn't seem to be any real explanation for myself. So luckily I started a job at Whole Foods years later and started to be introduced to diet and how that could really start to support my health and wellness, and was already starting to invite that into my life and see some results. And I also was introduced to some really great friends, and we started hiking and going out into nature and dancing. And so, things started to improve a little bit, but I was still having a lot of flares. And a funny story was I went dancing. It was a day party, and I was out dancing in a field barefoot. And the next day I'd gone to a doctor's appointment at UCSF, and I had this doctor named Dr. Gross, who was actually very handsome. And he was doing a whole body scan on me and got to the bottom of my feet, and they were like covered in dirt. I had forgotten to like really scrub them. And he's like, "Why are your feet so dirty?" And I said, "Well, I was out dancing all day yesterday." He's like, "You're really sick. Why are you out dancing?" And I said, "Well, because it's really fun and it lifts my spirits." And he's like, "I really like you. I'm gonna like working with you." And it was so it was during this point where I was starting to connect nature and journaling and kind of investigating all of this stuff and really looking into what lupus was, more than what I was getting from just what the doctors were telling me, that I was starting to understand that lupus was, it was my own body fighting itself. And for some reason, I started to kind of connect it to listening to the thoughts that were going on inside of my own mind, kind of what Dr. Gose was saying, of that internal dialogue of, really the judgment and the negative thoughts. And I started to really dive into, what if I started to work with my body? What if my body was really starting to speak to me and was actually asking for more? What if my body was needing more love and attention from me? What if it was wanting me to start to speak to it kinder or offer it more kindness and compassion? And here I was noticing that my body was going through all these flares, and while I was going through a flare, I had in the past been getting so mad at it. I was so mad that my hair had been falling out, so mad that my body was hurting, so mad that it was so sore. But what if I saw a friend or a family member that was sick, when I normally would offer them love and compassion, what if I started offering that to myself? What if I started really offering it love and kindness and was just a lot more tender to myself? So I started shifting that, and I started to really start just being much more sweet to myself. And when I started to feel crappy, started to really speak in a loving way, started to offer it better water and cleaner food. And when I was tired, started to rest more. So I started to switch the negative talk to kinder, more gentle talk. And I started to notice that things started to shift, not only within my body, but in my reality. And so I also, through the journaling, which I really encourage as a tool, I started to almost begin to self-study. I started to follow the flares and notice what stressful patterns were actually creating flares. I started to notice certain people that were creating stressful situations in my life, environments that were creating stressful situations in my life, and I really started a deep practice of self-study. And I started to kind of filter out the things that were not serving me. And I listened to this podcast, and it was really interesting podcast, and it was bringing up plants and how, if you're planting a flower or any kind of plant, if you want it to thrive, you put it in really good soil, and you give it good water and good food, and you take care of it on a regular basis, and that's how it can thrive and grow. And for some reason, I don't know why we do it, but we don't offer that same thing for ourselves. And so it was more of a needing to make a real shift in my own mind and to start to recognize these patterns of why I wasn't offering that for myself and where those deep belief systems came from, of why I didn't feel that I was worthy for that same love and compassion, and started to really take the time to rewire that. So a really great tool that I began to offer myself was affirmations. Now, my best friend does it. She thinks that sometimes those are not as effective because she thinks that you could tend to be lying to yourself. But I actually think it's really important to start to say new belief systems to yourself. So I started to really speak a lot of these affirmations every day. And I actually would start to speak them into the mirror and to look myself deep in the eyes and speak these new phrases to myself to actually start to believe the truth. Because the truth is that we are awesome and we're so worthy and we're so deserving, and for some reason we've picked up these negative beliefs that we're not, and we really are so deserving of so much love. And so through everything that I've gone through, I've realized that we have to almost become our biggest cheerleader, because everybody is in their own minds, they're doing their own thing. And so we have to learn to become our own biggest advocate and really start to encourage and love ourselves. So as I was continuing on with this, I started to really adapt to mantras or repetitive thoughts or sayings. So one that I'd really like to offer you is called the Ho'oponopono mantra. And it is a mantra that helps you to release and forgive. And it is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And this is a mantra I say constantly. I repeat it all the time, and it helps to replace those other negative thoughts. And so when you're starting to loop other things, you can kind of loop that in. But to get back to my story, so I was starting to notice that I was having less flares as I was beginning to study myself and to begin to kind of remove some of the stressful situations. And as I was getting into that groove and doing better, I attracted a partner who ended up becoming kind of a negative partner and got stuck in that situation. As life happens, it happens, and forgive myself for that. But throughout that, I will say that life continues to give you ebbs and flows, and you have to roll with them. And this is why we build up a spiritual tool belt. So when those negative moments happen, you do revert back to the tool belt. And one of the most powerful tools I have in the tool belt is self-forgiveness. And this is how I've applied deep compassion for myself throughout, because we're only human, and we're going to have lots of times where we get it right, and then there's going to be lots of times where we mess it up. And that's where we get stuck. And I feel like that's where some of the biggest moments of flares happen, is where we get stuck in I messed up, and now I'm stuck here. But it is where you just realize it's okay. we are going to continue to have those moments of messing it up. But if you look at any person that's ever really succeeded, it's the people that fall that pick themselves back up over and over and over and over and over again. They don't stop picking themselves back up. And that's what I've come to realize, is that throughout all that I've gone through, I've had lots of moments that I've fallen. But it's the persistence. It's the fact that I've chosen that I want to keep going, that I know that I can, and that every time I've fallen and I pick myself back up, I feel like I've gotten a little bit stronger and I've gotten a little bit wiser. And then it gets a little bit easier to keep picking myself back up. And I have been through a lot. So I've gone through really intense systemic lupus. I've lost my hair a lot. But every time I do, I have this moment where I realize that I have a choice in how I want to handle it. And I feel like all of these situations give us this choice. It's like a choose your own adventure. And I know that I want to choose love, and I know that I want to choose the lesson in it. And it's really funny how life will show up for you when you choose to see the lesson. So, like, for example, my hair had fallen out this one time and it was totally bald on the sides, and I was really struggling with it. And I prayed about it, and I feel like prayer is a really powerful tool. And I asked just for support in how to figure this out. And I kid you not, suddenly everybody started having this fashion trend of shaving their head on the sides. I don't know how it started to become a fashion. And I went to a party, and I'm, mentally struggling with the loss on the hair. And someone comes up to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love your hair. It looks so cool that you shaved it like that." And I have no idea, but it was like life just somehow flowed with me at that moment and got me through this period of time. So that's one example. But also, you just continue to try to see, what is this teaching me? And I just feel like there's always some way that you find this blessing in it when you just continue to keep your heart open and you just try to tap into what is the lesson and what is this showing me. I follow a woman, I think she's passed now, but her name is Louise Hayes, and she has a book called You Can Heal Your Life. And a mantra that she has that I've really, really appreciated is, "This is for my highest and best." And it's one that I really tap into also, and it's one that continues to help me to put one foot in front of the other. Because again, it's always a choice. We have a choice in every moment. These ebbs and flows come, this energy is constantly going, and we have a choice to ride this energy or to get tossed around by it. And there's definitely going to be moments where it's too much and you just need to kind of chill out, lay low, and again, have that deep compassion for yourself, because these moments can be overwhelming and hard. And in those moments, it's where we reach out to community and we ask for help, or we really tap into that self-love practice and we ask someone to massage our feet, or we just chill out and watch movies, or we do something to really comfort ourselves. But it is always having that deep love for ourselves, for what we're going through. And again, having that self-forgiveness for us when it just feels too hard and we just need to just take a step back and relax. And then sometimes you just get out to nature and just, tap into the beauty of the world. So, some other stuff that I've really gone through is I've also experienced the lupus attacking my kidneys. So I have gone through, it attacked my kidneys and ended up putting on about 70 pounds of water weight, and I was in and out of the hospital. And those moments were really challenging, and I really had to tap into my spiritual tool belts as well. And there were moments when I didn't even recognize myself. I didn't look like myself. And those were moments that I really had to look into the mirror and look deep in my eyes and talk to myself and say, Julie, I'm with you. I'm not going anywhere. Like, we've got this. And it's almost like you tap into, this is one of my favorite words, an inexhaustible strength within ourselves. And I have felt through continuing to just trust that there is some divine path through all of this, that I feel like everything I've gone through has been one of the greatest teachers that I've ever had. Because I don't think I would ever have come to know myself as much as I do now, and to have developed such a trust in knowing that I won't give up on myself. But again, it's a choice, and you have to get up every morning and make that choice, and to choose to want to keep going and to want to see what this is teaching you. But I really believe that everything is showing up to continue to give us this opportunity to grow and to expand and to evolve as a human, and to tap into that inexhaustible strength, courage, divine power, and knowing within. So I got through the part of the swelling, and I ultimately had to get put onto dialysis for 5.5 years. And again, this was not the easiest time of my life. But through that, I knew that I had a choice. I had a choice that I could choose the path of resistance, or I could choose a path of trying to make this the best that I possibly could. So every day that I hooked up to that machine, I thanked it, I blessed it, I sang, I hummed, I did everything I could to try to choose to make this better. And it was not always the easiest. You know, that machine, dialysis is not the easiest situation. But what I like to envision is that I'm floating down a river with a current. And I can either choose to lay back and allow that current to take me, and I can just take that ride as smooth as possible, or I could cling to the side and try to get out, and I could get scratched and pulled, and who knows what could happen. But I will choose the path of least resistance and try to smoothly sail. So don't get me wrong, there were moments where I tried to cling to the side, and there were moments where I didn't have it all together. And again, I had to tap into that choice of self-forgiveness. And, there's lots of waves to it. But again, I pick myself back up, I had compassion for the journey I was on, and I put one foot in front of the other. And during those times, you really have to plug into all of the tools you have. Meditation, breath work, things to soothe yourself, friendships, watching something funny, going outside in nature, prayer, mantras. A good mantra is, "This too shall pass." One that a breath work that we could do really quick that's really helpful, and this is also really good for if you ever have high blood pressure, which I did. So I don't know if you guys can curl your tongue, but you curl your tongue like this. This is called Satali Pranayama. You'll close your eyes in just a moment, but I'll show you what to do first. So this is a cooling breath, and this helps if you're ever feeling really angry or frustrated. And you go ahead and you just curl your tongue. If you can't curl your tongue, you're just gonna do a little O-shaped mouth. You curl your tongue and you slowly sip in the air through your tongue like you're sipping a straw. So and then you breathe out through the nose. We'll do one more. In through the tongue. And out through the nose. So this helps to just calm that fire, calm the intensity that's going on. And I've come to this breath many times. So there's lots of ways to self-soothe yourself, just calm down the nervous system, relax, and just allow yourself to just chill out. You know, another great way is just to simply hold yourself, look in the mirror, and tell yourself you love yourself. You know, all this stuff sometimes can seem really cheesy, but I've applied it so much, and it's been insanely helpful because, again, you have to learn to become your own biggest cheerleader. Like, we're here to build a deeper relationship with ourselves and to have such a deep self-love practice. So, for example, this is how I'll speak to myself when my hair has fallen out. I wrote a letter to myself that I read over and over and over again. And these are very helpful. You know, our body is about, there's different percentages, but it's like 80 to 90% water. And I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary, I don't remember what his name is, but he did a study on putting different words on water and watching the water molecules change, either really beautiful ones or really negative ones, that our body responds to the way we speak to it. And I know this for a fact because I've watched my body respond very differently from me being really negative to myself and me being really positive to myself. So this was when my hair was falling out, which again, it's done it many times and it's grown back really thick every time. But I wrote, I am so grateful that my hair has stopped shedding and that it has begun growing back fuller than it did last time. My hair teaches me how to take good care of myself and to notice when things I'm doing are not good for me. My body clearly communicates with me. I am happy to listen, to follow the guidance, and to watch my body heal itself. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I would read this every day, and I would just allow myself to feel soothed and nurtured and comforted by myself. And I would allow myself to stop feeling attacked by myself, to start to build a beautiful relationship with the self, to know that I love myself, to stop this inner fight, and just to start to feel like I can trust myself and that it's all good. And it's really impacted me in tremendous ways. Now, apply it to yourself. You know, experiment. I've tried so many different things over the years. I've tried different diets, I've tried different exercises, tried all sorts of different stuff. And really, it's just that you get to learn and know yourself on such a deep level, and you just get to see what works, what doesn't, and you really start to know yourself in a way that is so incredible, and I'm so grateful for that. So I'm just going to check this and see what else I wanted to talk about. So one thing that I have really felt that's guided me over the years is to have purpose, to wake up every day and to know why I'm getting up. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with watching the documentary The Blue Zone on Netflix. It is such a cool documentary. So they've found throughout the world there's these little pockets of places where people live the longest and are the healthiest. And the question was, what are these people doing that they're having this experience? And so they go and they interview all these people and they find out what they're doing. And they're eating local foods, they're surrounded with community and they're laughing, they're walking, so they're moving their body. And there's a few other things, but one of the things I really loved is that they have purpose. They get up every morning and they know what they're doing with their life. They know why they're there. And it doesn't have to be anything huge. Like, for example, this one guy in Costa Rica, if you watch it, you'll see he's this guy, and he gets on this horse, and he's just beautiful, and he looks like he's like a beautiful 70-year-old, but when you find out, he's like over 100, and he's 100 and something, and his purpose is simply to get up and take care of his farm. He just needs to go take care of his farm, of his animals, of his crops, but he has a purpose. And when I really started to think about what I was going through, I knew that I was having such a hard time, and I knew that I wanted to support other people that were going through stuff that I was going through, as well as I also started to recognize that not just people with lupus, but everyone is talking crap to themselves. Everybody is going through this loop of, leaving a conversation, and they're just thinking about all the stuff that they did wrong, or I said this wrong, I did this wrong, and why are we doing this? When if we started to really say wonderful things to ourselves, like, what would our life be like? So as I started to really switch the internal dialogue of how I was speaking to myself, I started to feel a really deep passion for wanting to encourage other people to be more aware of how they were speaking to themselves, and to start to offer themselves more self-love. So I ended up becoming a Kundalini yoga teacher, and got really into learning how to shift that dialogue within myself, as well as supporting other people to do the same thing. And so I started to have a purpose of not only learning how to work on that area in myself, but also of how to go out and to serve the world however I could, in conversations that I had with people, with my family, with my friends. I started to have more of a drive, and it started to wake me up every day with more of a passion, and also just to feel, more driven, more alive. And, I wanted to share this story. I know we all have heard this story before many times, but I still want to share it one more time. And it's the tale of two wolves, which is very applicable for lupus, as lupus means wolf. One evening, an elderly Cherokee brave told his grandson about a battle that goes on inside people. He said, "My son, the battle is between two wolves inside us all. One is evil. It is anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thought about it for a minute and then asked his grandfather, "Well, which wolf wins?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one that you feed." And this story gives us the lesson that it's always a choice. It's a choice of what part of us do we want to continue to feed? Do we want to keep choosing love? Do we want to keep choosing forgiveness and compassion for ourselves? Or do we want to wake up and just feel like life has just given us this crap deal, and we want to feel bad for ourselves, and we're just not going to take care of ourselves? We have a choice in every moment. And I encourage you to use this beautiful life that you've been given to feed yourself so much love and compassion and goodness and nonstop forgiveness. Forgiveness all the time. Forgiveness if you happen to make a decision that doesn't feel like it's the best serving for yourself. That's okay. Just simply know that it was just in that moment, and you can choose again in a second. In every moment, we can choose a different path. In just a second, you can choose. I'm going to choose better for myself in this moment. Yeah, I made a mistake in that. It's okay. I forgive myself. You don't need to dwell on it. In a moment, you can make a shift. And it's so beautiful to know that we have that opportunity. And it's helped me to continue to pick myself up and get going. And so I got through the 5.5 years of dialysis, and actually, it's so cool that today is the actual day last year that I got the call for my kidney. And so last year, in a couple hours, I went in to go get my kidney transplant. So it is the official 1 year anniversary that I got a kidney transplant, and it has been a truly incredible blessing. And I am so grateful for all that I have experienced. And it's not to say that it's like, oh, I'm through it all. Everything is just so easy breezy now. It's a continuous journey. It's a continuous showing up for myself. It's a continuous tapping into my tool belts, continuous showing up for myself, continuous love and compassion for myself, and making the daily choice that I'm so blessed to have this life and that I want to continue to show up. Thank you so much. To continue to show up for myself and others, because there is so much to do with this life, and I want to live it to the fullest. And actually, after I got the kidney a little bit later, I got a total hip replacement. So it's been bam, 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 like stuff coming at me. So I understand what it is to continue to have perseverance, and to continue to take that, to continue to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And when you need that encouragement, just keep watching successful stories of other people. I'm very aware of the input that I have, because the input we have is what really allows us to express that output. What we're feeding ourselves really matters. Watch positive successful stories. Feed yourself good food, good water. Like Dr. Gose was saying, sleep. Do the things that that will set you up for success, and just see what happens. Your own best experiments. Try things out on yourself. See what happens when you really watch your thoughts and start speaking to yourself in a loving way. Watch what happens when you start forgiving yourself more. So that is what I'd like to share, but I would like to take just a couple minutes to do a really beautiful breath work exercise. And we'll just do it for a couple minutes. And this is a meditation for stress relief and to release past memories, because so often we hold on to things that do not serve us, and we just need to let it go. Dr. Wayne Dyer talked about how it's not the snake bite that kills you, or hurts you. It's the venom that continues to move through your body. So it's kind of like when we hold resentment for people. They don't sometimes even know that you're holding on to them. Just let it go. Forgive people. Let it go. Let it move out of your body, and let yourself be free of holding on to things from people, and just allow yourself the beauty of forgiveness, of release, and just let it go. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna bring your fingertips together. So it'll be all your fingertips pressing against each other. Your thumbs are going to be at each other at the center of your heart, or just at the chest, at your sacrum. And your fingers will be like this. You're going to have a space in between. And then you're going to have your fingertips pointing up. So your eyes will be closed. And we're going to breathe in for 5 seconds. And then we'll hold for 5 seconds. And then we'll exhale for 5 seconds. And this is going to be in through the nose. Okay? So I'll count for us. Okay, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now do it a couple more times on your own. Okay, and one more time through. And we'll go together one more time. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now take a deep inhale. Hold at the top. And exhale out through the mouth. Then lift your arms up and give them a good shake. Just shake it out. Just shake out any of that just tension. Just shake it all out. Oof. Sometimes you just gotta move out. Okay. Beautiful. Well, in closing, I just want to kind of recap some of the tools that I've been sharing about. So I highly encourage journaling. It is a really great way to study yourself. It's a great way to start to notice cycles that are going on in your life. It's a great way to study yourself, to see which people are triggering flares, which environments are triggering flares, which foods. Just it's to know thyself is one of the most powerful things, to really know yourself, to know what makes you happy, to what makes you stressed. Just to really study yourself is a beautiful, beautiful gift. Get out in nature. Really connect to the beauty of nature, to the wonder of this world. Sometimes we're just so plugged into all the chaos, and just turn off the TV, turn off the news, get out into the beauty of the world. Just see the beautiful trees, sit with a tree, get quiet, drop into some meditation, listen to your breath, listen to your heart, listen to that inner voice, that inner guidance. It is speaking to you. It's quiet, but listen. Listen to the divine knowing within you. Speak words of affirmation to yourself. Look in the mirror. Do powerful eye work with yourself. Look deep into your soul. Yes, it might be cheesy. I can say for myself, it is powerful. It really works. Again, be your biggest advocate, your own biggest cheerleader. Just watch what happens. Try it out for a week. See how you feel. Just test it out on yourself. Meditation, again, that's just quieting. Prayer and meditation. Prayer is we're speaking out. Meditation is the listening. Forgiveness, again, when you fall, pick yourself back up. Watch success stories of people that have succeeded greatly. One of the main components that they have is that they continue to pick themselves back up over and over and over and over again. Choose love over fear. It's like pick your own adventure. Which path do you want to take? I say pick the one that feels good. Pick the one that feels fun. Another one is have more fun in your life. I follow a really powerful spiritual teacher, Gabby Bernstein, and some great advice she gave me was to base your success off of how much fun you're having. Things flow a lot more when you're having fun. I know it sounds like it's a silly bit of advice, but really, like when your heart is open, you're more receptive to miracles and prosperity, opportunities, and your body loves to have fun. It really does. So, really tap into that part of yourself, to that childlike part of yourself that has fun. Your body really responds to all of that. Dance, move, um, shake it up, shake your body, jump. Another great thing is to do the lymphatic drainage. These are the parts right here. Start here, then you move behind the ears, into the armpits, and you go into the stomach right here, and then behind the knees, and then you jump. Look up lymphatic drainage. That's really helpful. And then, allow, trust that everything is working out for your highest and best. Trust. Mantra for that is I trust life. And then also, one thing that's also been really helpful is to have a purpose. Waking up each day. What are you here for? What are you living for? Have some purpose. Maybe find a way to serve in some way, and to redirect your thoughts and to use this beautiful life that you've been given. And just to conclude with a quote that I find really beautiful is, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? This is a beautiful life we've been given, and just to use it with love and purpose. And and it's just such a blessing to be here and to share with all of you. And I'm always here to speak with any of you if you ever want to discuss more of these tools that I've used in my own life. I'm also a certified holistic health coach and a Kundalini yoga teacher. If you'd ever like to drop into one of my classes or to work with me in some way, I'd really love to offer any support. But more than that, I'm just always here to talk and to share more of the tools that I've used in my own life. So thank you so much for offering this time for me to share my story, and I just send so much love and blessings to you on your journey. I know that it can be quite a road of ups and downs, but just as a reminder, you do have an inexhaustible source of strength and courage and love within you, and I really believe that these obstacles give us the ability to tap into that. So, yeah, thank you so much. And that is the conclusion of my talk.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Julie.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you for
you.
telling your story and being so honest and open with us.
Thank you.
Right now, let's see if we have any questions. I checked a minute ago. I didn't see any. But feel free again to drop any of your questions in that Q&A box there, that you see on the bottom of the screen. Don't see any here. I did have a question for you, Julie. Do you have you practiced Reiki, or do you have any information on Reiki or recommendations?
Yeah, I have some friends that have done that before, but I also really definitely believe on hands-on healing. And then also with moving energy, Kundalini yoga is moving a lot of energy as well. So yeah, I have had friends do that, and I believe that that is very powerful and effective.
All right. Yeah, I just want to say that I practice Reiki and not myself, but to receive it.
Oh, awesome!
And it's been very helpful for me. So just everything that you've said has resonated. And yeah, again, just a beautiful story. In the Q&A box, I do have someone who has commented and said, "Thank you so much for sharing your story."
Oh, thank you.
And again, I echo that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here and getting the opportunity to speak. It's really such a pleasure.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
And Just as Dr. Gouze said, happy transplant
Thank
anniversary.
you.
I know a lot of
Yay.
us are very familiar with a lot of that. So
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's very
Yes.
exciting.
All right. Well, we really appreciate your time and your story again, Julie. Thank
Oh,
you
thank you
for
so
joining us.
much. I really appreciate being here. And thank you so much, Dr. Gouze, for all of the amazing information you gave. It was so fun to listen because I'm like, yes, I agree with that. Yes, I've applied that.
Yes.
Yes, it was so good.
Yes. Same here. Same
Yeah.
here. Speaking my language, you know,
Oh,
so
totally. Definitely.
all right. Again, thank you, Julie. Thank you, Dr. Gouze, for joining us. And thank everyone for staying with us and listening and getting fed with all of this great information. I truly do believe that the mind body connection is a piece that a lot of folks just don't know about, are afraid of, just haven't tried it, but it really does make a difference, and it's an important part of your health, and an important part of just ensuring that you have the best outcomes for your lupus. So I would encourage all that are listening that haven't tried it, have been thinking about it, have tried it once and just thought it was silly or didn't work, but please keep at it. And this conference and the recording here will be a great resource to go back to and look at some of the tools that have been presented by our speakers today. So
Yeah.
again, thank you everybody for attending today. And don't forget that these videos will be posted on the LFNP website. If you missed the session one presentation from earlier this morning, um, please watch for that email link. And also, please be sure to take the survey that you'll receive via email. These are very important for us. They will help us find topics which are interesting to you, and also we can learn how these conferences can be improved. So please take the survey. It's all for your benefit. Our next Lupus Health Conference will be on June 7th, and we're still working on those details. So we'll send out an email once that registration is open. Don't forget, we have the Drive Out Lupus fundraiser at Top Golf in San Jose on June 29th. We're offering early bird pricing now until May 21st, so get your tickets now. All right. I hope everyone will have a good day today. Again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to this wonderful conference, getting all of this wonderful information, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Thanks.